I started running sound for bands like years ago. Like that was what I did.
That's how you got into it?
Yeah.
And when did video come into it?
I started running sound first. I would run sound at like church and stuff. And then video was, I was probably a junior in high school. So I started audio probably like freshman year. So I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was doing it. So it was fun. And now I obviously know more. The older you get, the more you learn.
So you started doing audio, and was this because your dad is a pastor at Quest?
Yeah, my dad's a pastor, and when obviously going to church, I was there a lot. I wanted to, the sound booth was like the place to be because he was kind of out of the way. You felt like cool because you were a part of, the behind the scenes, all the things, and it's a place to hide out and look at your phone during the sermon. As a kid, that's all I was trying to figure out how to do that.
Yep.
And so, I got really, I loved music. I didn't really know I could sing, to be honest. I was in chorus and stuff, but then I just was attracted to music, attracted to good sound, always like nice speakers, good headphones. So when I was in high school, I started running sound and expressed interest in that. There was a guy. Name is Rip Rainey. Shout out Rip. R.I.P. Literally Rip. Is his name. He was the first person to really teach me how to run sound like a full analog board with all the knobs. Like it was not one of the new digital ones. It was, really simple.
Yep.
But also more difficult on how you look at it. And then eventually just kind of progressed from there. And now, I know enough to be dangerous.
So you started in sound at the church in the sound booth.
Correct.
Where did video come into play then? Because that's a completely different
skill
set.
So like a lot of kids, I watched YouTube a lot when I was, in high school and middle school. Started on like, the typical stuff, like just the more entertainment based things. And then I found this dude named Devin Supertramp. Okay. And if you've been around the block for a while, then you know who Devin Graham is, Devin Supertramp.
Yep.
He would do all these like, Assassin's Creed in real life, all these video games that I loved, all these different things like that. Like he would do all these video game recreations with these cool third person things. And then I saw him on behind the scenes break out something called a glide cam, and it kind of blew my mind. And I was like, man, that's what I want to do. And I remember that year I asked, because it was him and Parker Walbeck were the two that I knew. And so I saw these beautiful travel videos he would make, these like amazing landscapes, the way he would film. And then I realized he was using like a camera that like you and I would have, like you would go get from Best Buy. Like it wasn't anything special. It was a 5D Mark II when he was first doing it.
Yep.
And I fell in love with that. And so I asked my parents for a camera for Christmas, and they bought me a Nikon.
Oh,
yeah.
Betrayal.
Yeah, betrayal, And so I ended up with this red Nikon D3100, and then I didn't get a glide cam or anything because glide cams were like $600 at the time. Like they were expensive, $600, even the cheaper ones. And so my dad being the handy guy that he is, and he's always been in construction and stuff, he was like, dude, we could build you one. And so we built this. If I have a picture, I'll send it to you. You can throw it up. We had built this picture, like this glide cam of like a PVC like quad little coupling in the middle, and then it had like this like threaded rod and like these counter. I mean, it was like the most redneck looking glide cam, and it had no adjustment. So like if it was a little bit off balance all the time. It never really worked, but it was special, and my dad helped me do it, and it kind of got me into it. And then eventually I was able to actually get a glide cam, and then in high school I kind of progressed from like senior year. I got my first paid job working for Campbell University, which this is a testament to, you'll know this, to just putting stuff out there. This was an instance where I literally got this job from posting. My sister was a student at Campbell. I had a GoPro at the time. I posted a time lapse on campus from the GoPro. And then somebody from the medical school reached out. I didn't know what I was doing. She thought I was a student.
Oh.
So I go to this meeting, right, to meet this lady, because she'd sent me an email. I was like, hey, we were looking for something to film our orientation. I was like, sure. Again, fake it till you make it. I was like, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do this, even though I have no idea what I'm doing.
Did you have a camel shirt on?
Oh, dude, not at all. No. I walk in, and, she was asking me what my major was. And I was like, well, I'm actually I'm a senior in high school. I could tell she was kind of like, oh. I was like, but my sister goes here. And then, so she took a chance on me and gave me the job anyway. I like rented gear. I rented a Canon C100 Mark II at the time. Camera. And had, I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't, but it was that was really the launch. And I was like, wait a minute, I can make money doing this. I was never a kid that loved school.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was appealing to me. I was like, so you're telling me there's a way to make a living doing something I really like that doesn't involve me going to college. That felt like a dream scenario
Still
to me,
is.
you know? And so that was really what honestly probably jump started the whole video stuff. And then from there it progressed and met people like you and different things like that.
Do you still feel like it's somewhat of a dream job because you don't need a college degree for it? Opportunity is abundant if you know how to do it the right way. You still feel like you enjoy it?
Absolutely. 110%. Like it's days like even today when we're not necessarily making money, but we're just together, hanging out, filming videos, talking about video, you know, with people that you really enjoy being around, good connections. Like that's the best kind of job, man. And, you know, and there's days like even the days that aren't as fun. Like we were recently discussing some projects that maybe aren't as desirable as some other ones. Even those are still better than sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day.
That's true.
You know?
And there's also the idea that your success as a filmmaker is determined by how hard you want to work.
Sure.
Because if you want to make good money in this industry, it looks a little like work.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be no job that you ever do and will do it successfully that is going to require no effort. Like I think people have this misconception, and the internet doesn't help with this. Like TikTok doesn't help with this. You have, you know, all these people on TikTok. I make $7,000 a month from sitting at home, and like, no, you don't. Like,
there's other things you're doing.
They're doing things like the reality is people expect, I think, for work to just appear and they can just sit at home, work, you know, 5 days a month and make enough money. That's just not the reality. Like it takes hustle, it takes grind. I mean, I know that's kind of, they're all buzzwords that are like people roll their eyes at, but there is a level of effort you have to put in to be successful.
Do the work once, get paid forever for those things to work. Like the LUTs. That you sell.
Yeah, LUTs are a great
the
way.
Canon C70 LUTs.
Great way. Yeah.
It took 3 to 5 months just to design those.
Yeah, roughly.
And now you're doing pretty well with them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You put the time in to make them first, and then it pays off. It's similar. Well, and it's the same thing in video too. As a video production.
Yeah, and like, yeah, LUTs are a great example. Like there's but that only works because I already had an audience. It wasn't a huge audience, but there was already an audience there. And I really am intentional to not always sell to my audience. Because I just don't believe in that. I think if I do sell you something, there should be value in it, and it should be valuable to you. And so I went 2 years without ever asking for a dime for people. And I think now, like, you know, I'm able to make those asks, but I also know that what they're getting, the product they're getting, is actually something that I mean, you know this because you see my work. I use the LUTs for all of my projects. Like, it's not like it's something that I've created that I use. No, I genuinely use them in every capacity. But I do that because we spent so much time working on them, and it was something that was, you know, that I actually think are great, and they look good and they work, and you know, but it takes effort, it takes time to do those things. And
you get confirmation as well too from Parker Walbeck.
Yeah, right.
He reached out. He purchased your LUTs.
Yeah, Parker Walbeck bought my LUTs, which is a crazy full circle thing to me because, like I said, Parker and Devin were like the two guys that really inspired me to do video. Like that was where that came from. And when I saw Parker's email come into, you know, my Sellify store, I was like, dude, there's no way this is actually him. Send him an email. He responded. Super awesome dude. You know, was able to interact with him there a little bit. But yeah, like he saw them and thought they were good enough to buy. And that's just cool to me too. And it is confirmation. It is encouraging when you have people that you know, look up to that, you know, I know they're not perfect. They're probably not the best LUTs on the planet. Obviously, there's probably better ones out there. But I'm saying, like, it's good confirmation knowing that they people that you look up to and that are respected in the industry think, okay, that's good enough. You know, that looks good. I want to try that. It's just cool. It just makes you keep, you know, good motivation basically. It is, yeah. Especially as an entrepreneur and a filmmaker, it's very difficult to be taken serious. Yeah. Especially as a filmmaker, you hold up a camera. First, people think you're a photographer. Yep. Even though you're shooting video. But then second, I don't know if you get this. I don't get it as much anymore. Yeah. But I often, when I started, got the question, so is this your full-time job? Yeah. Or are you doing something else?
I got that a lot when I started my company, which is fascinating.
I get that, and even my own mom, which is hilarious. It's just like it's a terminology thing. But it should be like, now, did you what did you and Cody take pictures of today? Like we didn't take pictures. we filmed something, like like that still happens a lot too. It's like, okay, that's not really what it is, but yeah, and it is, and it's like, I grew up in a family, on my dad's side in particular, there's like everybody was teachers. His two sisters were teachers. His mother was a teacher.
Wow.
So school was a big thing. It's very important. And so when I didn't go to college, everybody was kind of like, okay, what is he going to do? And the fact that like I already didn't do great in school to begin with because it just wasn't my thing. So there was a lot of pressure when I decided to not go to school. I mean, even from my own parents, I don't say pressure, but there was like a expectation that I wasn't just going to sit around.
Right.
That, if you're going to still live here and if you're going to, not go to college, you need to be working. You need to be doing something. And so, that was an expectation, but it did take a long time to be taken seriously. And now it's great. And they understand that like there's money in it and like there's a future in it and all these things, but it takes a while, to build that sometimes with like, especially, maybe older folks that didn't grow up in the world of video. They don't really, they're like, wait, you're going to make a living taking videos of people? It's not natural to them. So it takes some explanation and they need to see it, So yeah, for sure.
You raise up two great points. The first one, yes, the older generations don't realize that creating videos as a filmmaker or videographer, whatever title that you assume,
right,
is a very, very profitable and sustainable career.
Yeah.
Something I realized when I started as a filmmaker.
Because how long you been doing it?
Just a little bit under 5 years. But before I started as a filmmaker, I didn't even know it existed. I didn't know anything about a camera. Right. I didn't know they existed.
Just wild to me.
Completely wild, man. So that also brings up a good point. Like there are still people who have no idea cameras and video exist. Like they don't even know it's a thing. And then there are filmmakers who know video is a career, but who are also fearful that AI is going to replace take their job, man.
I mean, yeah, I have mixed feelings on it. Like I think AI is a tool. I mean, I also, those of you who don't know, I work at a church as well as a creative director. So like that's kind of my main gig, but I've done the freelance life as well. But now, like with what I do there, like my job is to make videos there. Like a lot of my job is the video part. So we have sermon series coming up or like events and stuff like that's my job. And so there's been instances where I've used AI to create entire videos. And like there's one called Kyber AI, which is like it does this kind of like you can upload an image or something like that, and it'll completely animate it. It'll add to it. It'll do this whole thing. You can add music. It'll actually like edit to the music. So there's a lot of cool resources out there that you should be scared of. You need to learn how to use them and use them well to be able to get ahead of stuff like that and not be, worked out of a job.
True. There's also elements of it that are overlooked. First, the one thing that human beings have over AI is that we're human.
Yeah.
Use that to your advantage. Like AI can't completely be human.
Right.
As it learns and evolves, obviously it can
not yet, at least.
Become emotionally intelligent. But there will always be the need for the human.
I think we're seeing like a decline in the like retention editing and the fast pace and all these things. And I think people are craving more humanity.
That's true.
That's true. And more like genuine connection, genuine relationship. And I think that will always be king. People will always be king. Relationship connection will always be king. No matter how good AI gets, people will always crave that. And so I think there will always be a place for the individual, for Cody, for Brock to be able to build an audience, build connection, create, beautiful stories for clients, for ourselves, for whoever, that AI will never be able to replicate. So I don't think it's anything to be worried about at all, to be honest with you.
I agree, man. It's the things that AI can do will replace the people who are doing like these small jobs, like these product commercials.
Yeah.
You can easily replicate that. Like it's not really making an impact on the culture by creating product commercials.
Sure.
But if you're creating documentaries,
Yeah.
that makes an impact. So
Yep.
I think it will replace the smaller things, but it is a tool, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And have you ever heard, for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction?
Yep.
And you can even see this when you're looking at the history of Christianity and how it developed and evolved. Like, the more you see evil come up in the world, you see the same amount. And this happens in the Marvel movies too, right? Like, a superhero is born and then villains come into place. So as AI becomes more popular, the need for human interaction becomes more popular. So I don't think it's anything to worry about.
And I don't think it's a good evil conversation. Evil comes from humanity.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. And so, like, AI is not the problem. It's humans using AI is going to be the problem.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
So,
I've heard that.
That's the reality. It's not like AI inherently is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like alcohol is inherently not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But if you drunk drive and kill someone, that's bad.
Yeah.
That is evil manifesting itself through alcohol. But the source being human
summary.
making poor decisions. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I guess that's a great summary on the AI conversation. The humans.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, I just think I think there's value in whatever you're trying to do. Obviously, we're speaking to predominantly probably filmmakers, videographers, whatever level you consider yourself at or whatever you consider yourself doing. I think there's just the lesson to me in the AI conversation is just to be yourself and share more of yourself, not like in a toxic way. Obviously, boundaries are key, but like being more transparent, being more genuine with your audience, whatever that looks like. Whether that's maybe you're just a person, you have no internet, personality at all. Like you're not on social media at all. Maybe you're just in offices talking to clients. But be yourself. Be transparent. Be honest. But if you do have an online personality to some degree and you have a presence there, then on social media, then still be yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I've realized. Not that I'm 27, so take this for the grain of salt. I'm not some old owl, sitting on a tree like the old commercials, Tootsie Pop commercials. But because we're all leading somebody, being a leader is just influence. Essentially, we're all influencing someone. You can be a bad leader or good. You can be influencing poorly or negative or positively. So I think it's just important to remember that and being willing just to be honest, be yourself, have integrity, and that goes a long way. I mean, that with dealing with clients, just integrity alone gets you really far.
Oh yeah.
In your business, that's where it's gotten you as far as you've gotten in a lot of ways because you have integrity, you operate that way, and you want to create a good result. I mean, right? I would assume. So,
yeah, absolutely, man. Relationships, just in the terms of businesses, you can do money, time, or relationships. That's usually what businesses build a product or service around.
Right.
But in the way your business operates, it should prioritize relationships, love, trust, and transparency.
Right.
That's how you grow any business.
Yep.
You can get clients online by running ads and all this stuff, but it's not sustainable if you don't have a foundation, which is why I always prioritize networking. You probably have heard me say this over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Go to BNI.
Right.
Go to BNI. Go to networking, build relationships.
Yep.
Don't sell those people. Get access to their inner circles by doing something for them.
Right.
And this is a 5,000-year-old concept. People have been helping other people.
Right.
And that's how the world goes around. That's how you build a successful business.
Right.
It's the human way to build a business.
Yep.
People love relationships. They love humanity.
Yep.
And it's going to continue to be that way.
And it's funny too, because you can build a business bad.
Oh,
and it can be successful.
Oh, yeah.
But it can be not fun. It can be life draining. It can be, all these things.
Oh, yeah.
So don't get me wrong, you could be successful doing the wrong things.
Oh.
And that's also, but it's interesting, like you said, going to BNI, doing all these things. I've never been one of those meetings, right? Because I know me. And I think it's important to, whether you're someone who's trying to start their own business or you're just in my case, you and I's relationship is interesting because your passion lies within the business, the clients, you love that.
Yeah.
That's your world. The camera is just a way in which you do that.
Yep.
It's a tool to do. For me, the camera is my world.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about the actual work, the filming, the storytelling, all those things. Not that you're obviously a great storyteller, you're passionate about that, but I'm saying that's our world. So for me, I love like if you're not a person who's, you know, a natural salesman or networker, find a Cody that if like work on your craft, get really good, and find a Cody that needs someone to do the work. You know, like that's our relationship, and it works great because we're both operating within what we're really good at. You know,
it's a good point though. So when you build a business, any successful business will start by doing the thing that the person is good at and putting the people in place who are better than them at that stuff. As a filmmaker, a videographer, we think we need to do the filming, the business, the editing, the upsells, the templates, the product development, growth, business plan, taxes. It doesn't have to work like that, man.
Not at all.
I have a CFO who handles all my taxes because I have no idea what I'm doing, and I don't want to know.
That's fair.
And it's strange. I get this misconception that like I'm very passionate about creating videos and stuff, but I'm not.
Right.
Like the quality comes.
You're good at it, but I mean, but it's,
But when I look at it, I'm not saying you probably know this already. I don't say like I'm being creative. I'm like, nope. I follow the rules of composition that tell me to put the subject here. I follow the rules of lighting that say put a key light this way. I tell a story with a 5-step format that is taught by a lot of other people. I edit based upon the way people tell me to edit professionally, and then I deliver the right way. Like I'm following a process to create a video that looks remarkable because that's scalable, repeatable. I can teach other people how to do it. Very processed, not creativity.
Very linear. And I'm the complete opposite.
Complete opposite. But I need people like you in my business to be in order to be sustainable and successful because it's a lifeless product. Sometimes.
I get what you're saying.
Unless I have people like you who love the filming.
But
to do it.
And if I didn't have people like you, I would not have any clients.
And you need both.
You
need both to work.
I mean, sure, we could both stretch in the opposite direction enough to be successful to some degree. But there's a ceiling when you don't scale and you don't delegate and you don't become more specialized in like, and I feel like the balance that we have is nice. I enjoy it, and like,
same,
you know, and I guess I say all that to say, I know a lot of people that are probably going to be listening to this or hear these clips are like, you know, in your video mastery like community, right? And a lot of these people, it's nothing wrong with starting your own business at all and in running the business side, but don't feel like you have to. You know, go to the networking events to meet the Codys, so that they know that like, hey, I'm really passionate about filmmaking. I'm not as savvy with the business stuff. You're really savvy with the business stuff. Let's partner. Let's do this together, and we can both grow beyond. You know, I think that's also that's another approach to the you know the way of going about it, basically.
And a problem that a lot of filmmakers have is getting out of their own way. What they don't realize is competition is not healthy if you're fighting against your competition. Competition is great for innovation, but working with your competition and creating community is way more important because the people who know more about your industry is your competition. That's how I grew my business so fast. I went to my competition. I asked how much you charge. Let's keep the same prices to stay consistent. Can you do some of the work for me? So I can focus on growing my business while you're executing the work. Little by little by little. And then it wasn't until I had my son where I started delegating more. And that's when I scaled my business by 50%. When I got out of my way, usually the filmmakers are the bottlenecks in their industry. They just don't want to, they want to keep more of the money and they want to do the filming, the editing, the outreach, but that leads to burnout. And then you'll get out of the business, or then you run into the problems that all my students run into. They reach burnout, fatigue, and then they're like, how do I get past these 100K months? You need more time. But first you need rest. If you're depressed, you need deep rest. Rest first. And then put someone in place. That's how you grow the business, man.
Well, and like there's value. Like for me, you know, I work on, like, if let's say, you know, I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. Your business is based out of Wilmington. So like, you know, for me, that's a 2-hour drive, right? But if let's say I go on a Friday to do a gig for you, like I have my day rate, you know, my day rate, you pay me my day rate. Could I make more if I got the client myself, arranged the whole job and did it myself? Sure. But there's value in me handing you a memory card, packing up my stuff and going home and like not having to edit. Like that's valuable for me because that's time back. That's, you know, and for you, like having an editor, that's time back. Having me, that's time back. Like you could always make more money, but are you going to be, is it sustainable? And that's why like our flow to me is more sustainable than just trying to do everything yourself. Because it is instinctual. Yeah. You want control. You want to make sure that it's done how you would do it. And I get that. Like it's your baby, especially if it's a business, like it's your thing. You've poured blood, sweat, and tears into this. And it's like, this is mine. It needs to be my way. But I think there is power in like letting go. And like you said, not being scared of other people in your industry.
Right.
And not being scared of like this whole competition stuff, man.
It's silly.
It's silly. And it's a lot of times it's unspoken. It's just the way it's what people feel in their hearts. You know, and it's just not healthy. Like it's not it's not productive. It's not good for your relationships. It's not good for like the whole, you know, quietly trying to beat someone or, you know, like we should all be building each other up because everybody's different. Everybody has their own unique style. Everybody has their own unique way of doing things, whether it's business, whether it's filmmaking, whatever it is. Like there's probably people that would look at casting films and say, I would structure that differently. I would do this differently. But it's your way. It's Cody's way. And it's working.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's people that would look at my videos and be like, I probably wouldn't. I would have lit that differently. I would have done this differently. And it's opposed to me being like, you know, you post YouTube videos. Comments there's people come in the comments just looking to criticize. For no reason. We all know it, the keyboard warriors. Like we talk about that. But it's like, you know, in the past I've been defensive. Someone's criticized. I'm like, you know, well, this is why I did it. But a lot of times we realize that like maybe I've learned that, you know, I should be a little bit more open-minded. Maybe whoever's talking to me maybe they have some advice that would be useful. Now there's a way to deliver that advice.
True.
It's nice, but that's another conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I 100% agree.
There's a couple points there. So community over competition is obviously a big topic. Community is way more important. If someone approaches me, and I get this still a lot because I do business in a town where Hollywood used to exist.
Yep.
So there's a lot of filmmaking competition there, but I am the highest rated. I don't know if you knew that, but Casting Films is the highest rated in Wilmington.
Hey, let's go. That's awesome. Yep. I did not know that, but go you. That's awesome.
And anytime I encounter competition who has this standoffish mentality, there's a few things I consider. First, they're not open-minded.
Yep.
To collaborating, which tells me they're operating their business in a way that I wouldn't operate it.
Right.
And in a way that I might even see as unhealthy. And the second thing is, and this is more like an altruistic kind of thing. Like if somebody is really going to come at you and attack you, you can learn from that because there's
absolutely
in every mistake and every harsh critique, even the mean ones that have no intention on saying anything good, you can learn from that.
Yep.
If you take failure as feedback and you take that feedback with an open mind. And then the third thing, if there is nothing to learn, which is rare, there's usually something. Yeah,
there's usually something, yeah.
If there is nothing to learn, then you should still be grateful that person left you that nasty comment because it is a very clear indication that you don't need to be investing your time into that relationship.
Right.
And they've clearly identified, hey, this isn't worth proceeding with. So move on to the next thing. Boom.
And you won't be for everybody. Like in the sense that like you're not going to be, you know, it's okay. There's going to be people that always will not like what you do. There's going to be people that always will love what you do, even if it sucks, because they love you. Like that's a thing too. And I think there's value in, like I was saying earlier, just about being genuine to your audience, whatever that looks like. Whether that's if your audience is just your friends and family. Like if you do your best to treat people well, which is hard, I get it. People, you having a bad day. Like my biggest enemy to me is my mouth. The most trouble I've ever gotten in and the most damage I've ever done to relationships is just me, stuff I've said. And a lot of times the sad part is I've been right about what I was saying, but wrong in the way I was saying it.
Yeah.
And like that is so big for me. And it's something I have to fight on a daily, like every day I wake up, that's like something that I have to think about because it's not productive. You know, being right is Sometimes, as my wise father says, peace in the family is more valuable than being right. And that applies to relationships, and even to online people that you don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the point of engaging in the discourse?
Being right is overrated.
It is, and I struggle. We all struggle with it because we all have pride. We're all prideful, inherently. So, like,
is it in the book of James where it says the heart is deceitful and the tongue is wicked above all else?
Yep.
The same tongue
100%.
that we use to glorify God is the same one that we use to slander our neighbors.
Right. And it's like, and that's the thing. Like,
who can tame it?
Like, regardless of what you believe, whether you're religious or you follow Jesus or not, like, that's just a true statement.
Yeah.
like I don't like, that's just, I think we can all agree that humans in our mouths get us in trouble because we yap about things that we don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so I can't remember what rapper said this one time, but it's like this. He said basically he was like shut your mouth if you don't know what you're talking about. Like, sometimes there's power in just shutting up. And
Mr. Rogers
said
the same thing.
Wow, crazy.
He said the world is moving towards some kind of direction that seems unpleasant because they are failing to find value in silence.
Yeah, that's deep. It's awesome.
Just because we can speak and voice our opinions doesn't mean we have to.
Yeah.
You might even be able to find more value if you choose not to say it and think through it.
Yep.
Practicing that is difficult, but it does take intention on not saying something, even if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
You learn that quick when you become married and you have kids.
Yeah.
You'll figure that part out.
Not there yet, but I mean, I've noticed that in you. Like, you're very slow to speak. You tend to. I can always say you. I've watched you dealing with clients and other people, even me. Just like the way you always take a pause when someone asks you like a question that you may not have been ready for, or you're not really sure. Like, you don't immediately just start speaking. You always like process. You give yourself time to process the response. And I think there's value in that. I'm bad at that. But I admire people that have the ability to do that. My dad's that way too. Me and my mom are the ones that are just instant answers.
There is an element of valuing my time as much too, which is also great for filmmakers to understand too when it comes to like charging.
That's true.
When I had my son and 50% of my time was taken away, but I still had to do the same output.
Yep.
I had to get creative.
Yeah.
I had to put systems in place that worked when I was sleeping. And I choose my words carefully because I don't have enough time to just spitball and figure it out. Right? Like,
that's very reasonable. Yeah.
I could be blabbing away, but I got to change a diaper still. And I'd rather just think and then speak. Filmmakers will think that they have to get every client in the entire world. Every person needs to be their client. And I can't run a business if I don't have 100, 200, 300, 400 clients. That is not true. If filmmakers took time to understand you need less than 15 clients a year, you can even get away with 5 or even 10.
Yeah.
I have less than 10 clients this year, and I'm going to do the biggest that I've ever done in business.
Right.
When I started my business, it was like 47 clients, and I was hitting 150K.
Yeah.
You don't need a lot of clients. You
Quality
just need
quantity.
the quality clients who value your time, paying you what you value your time at.
Sure. Time is currency also. So there's just value in that. And I think, like you said, is someone who, in your case, is a father, is a husband. I will never sacrifice time with people I love for work. Now, there obviously are moments where you have to do that, and I get it. That's not a blanket statement. There's nuances to this. But I'm saying, like, could I stay home tonight and spend, extra time on a YouTube video and not go hang out with some friends? Sure. But could I also just do that another day and go spend time with people? Because there's just value in like being with people that you love and relationships that are productive and building community, because, man, like, that's what refuels you as human beings. And I know even introverts, I get it. Like, you don't like people. It's cool. And I'm like very mixed on that. I'm like in the middle somewhere. But everybody needs, whether it's, you may not like 20 people, but there may be one that refuels you. And I think what you're saying about time is like building a business that allows you to build those relationships, maintain them, the ones that you have, I think is very important. And I think, like, especially for really creative people, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I know for me and a lot of people that I talk to, I find the most inspiration outside of the job, for the job.
Wow.
If that makes sense. I was with my parents last night after Cody and I had dinner, met up for, get some footage and stuff. And I went to my parents' house and afterwards. And, my parents were talking about this YouTube video I posted, and we were talking about lighting and stuff. And like, I'm sitting there hanging out with my parents, and I'm like in their house, and in the evening, the sun sets behind. And there's this beautiful light. My mom was talking about this beautiful light that always comes in through their kitchen. It's like the whole length of the kitchen. And these rays of sunlight. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, I'm thinking about video stuff, but I would never have seen that and been inspired by that lighting and that beauty that I saw if I wasn't spending time with my parents. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I see.
And I think for creative people, sometimes you have to leave the bubble of the job to be inspired to do the job.
Thank you for sharing that. It's when I traveled during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. You were one of the only ones?
I was one of the only ones, which I know it will never happen again, hopefully.
Yeah.
We went to places and it was just a complete ghost town.
Yeah.
Everywhere we went, Gatlinburg, we were the only people there, but we could walk through and we could film some stuff. It was pretty eerie.
Yeah, I bet.
But
very post-apocalyptic.
It was. But it also left some of the most beautiful landscapes untouched. I didn't have to wait in line to go anywhere. And I bring this up because the biggest client that I have hired me based upon a travel video that I made for fun. I wasn't getting paid to do it. Well, I was trading the video and photos I was taking to the Airbnb property owner so I could stay there for free for 2 weeks. And I created the video. It was gorgeous. Not my best work, but it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And this client saw it and hired me. Biggest client to date. I still have that client because I went out and I did what you're talking about.
Yep.
And
yeah, like take the unpaid job, take the passion project, take time to do that. What can generate you money in an indirect way also. Like I think we always think, well, I got to take this corporate job because they're going to pay me. But like you could also, go make that thing you're passionate about. Go, like for me, like there was one video in particular I posted on YouTube and I can't remember. I think it was something with my niece, right? I have this a 4-year-old niece. She's the best. Her name was Lily. And like I had this footage of Lily, and like Lily has sold me LUTs because the footage looked good. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I was still filming, like spending time with her, and I filmed for probably 30 minutes out of 3 hours. So it's like a little bit of time that I spent filming, but we were still playing together. It was fun, and like moments like that are very valuable. And opportunities will come to you. And I think it's like we were recently sitting on a project, talking with one of your clients that I helped you film a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you remember this. And the guy was just talking about, how he got started in his company and stuff. And he said this, and this I just thought about it ever since. He was like, there's always opportunities around if you just listen. And if you just keep your eyes open, get out your phone. Like there's always opportunity to make money. There's always opportunity to do that and to grow your business if you're just paying attention and listening to people and having conversations. So I think like, and sometimes that starts with, like you're saying, make that Airbnb video, bro. Put it out there and just see what happens. Because you'd be surprised at the opportunity. I know you've done this because you're on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. Like I have like 2,500 subs. I think you're like almost 10,000, 8,000, whatever it is. But there's brands that'll send us stuff. They reach out.
Microphones all day.
They'll send you microphones. Like I've gotten camera bags from like Manfrotto, Brevity, like all these brands, And instead of saying, I'll take the free thing and make a what's in my bag video, make a commercial for them that they didn't ask for. Make a spec. That's what I did with Brevity, and it was cool. And it was different. It was fresh, and it wasn't their typical thing. And so like there's just, I say all this to say, I know we're kind of rambling, but there's just, it's important to, put a little effort in because I didn't get paid. They didn't pay me. They just sent me the bag. But I spent a whole 2 days filming that thing and another day editing it. So, I mean, that's 3 days of my life of work that I didn't get paid for.
Watch what happens though.
Right.
Watch what happens. This is a principle that you have to, it's a biblical thing, which is interesting how that whole thing works. It's like the stuff that's in the Bible actually works.
Crazy. Who'd have thought?
Even if you don't believe in Jesus, the teachings are still applicable.
Yeah, who would have thought, right?
Right. You put that work in completely for free. You're going to get that back tenfold. You don't know where it's going to come from or what form it's going to come in, but watch what happens.
Yeah.
That is what helped my company be so successful in the beginning. I never shot videos for free.
Yeah.
When I started my company, I always told them like, hey, I'm doing this. I'm going to raise my prices as I'm learning and growing. Right now, it's going to cost this. And like, okay, let's do it. I over-delivered on these projects. And when I over-delivered, they had such a great experience that they sent me a referral to somebody else because I over-delivered, I gave more, and I received tenfold until I worked my way up the ladder. My first video was $500.
Crazy.
Yep. Which is wild. I would never charge that ever again.
I don't get off my couch for
$500. And now I'm up to where I'm at right now.
Right.
So the same thing works when you do things for free, in this case for people. Sometimes you can leverage that and not shoot it for free, but your brevity video can also be a way for you to sell LUTs for people who like the color, or another company who is going to actually pay you to shoot because they saw that. Again, you don't know where this is going to come from. And I got a free bag. Yes.
Like a $180 bag that now I'm actually going to I'm giving it away to one of my YouTube subscribers. So like that's a way to give back to that community. There is value there, you know? Automated. So you utilize videos that you've pre-recorded.
Yes.
Describing your process, informing them of your process to make it more personable. Clarifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep. You can use videos to make a company.
So what would you recommend to, like for me, or like let's say I just started today and I have my first client. Would you go ahead and build a system that large, or would you just start small?
So you're starting as a filmmaker today?
Yeah, like if I was going to start, today.
I would suggest documenting the entire experience. Listening to what your client is saying. So when you have your client, they will say things to you, and you need to keep an open mind. It might usually hurt at first.
Right.
But you need to keep open mind saying, if they say something like, hey, I forgot to dress, like what do I wear? Then you know, okay, next time I should send them a dress code.
Yeah.
So document everything. If at the end of production, like you're done filming, they're like, so how long does this take? They shouldn't be asking you that question.
Right.
Because it's not a good experience to have uncertainty through the process. So you want to make sure that you're documenting all of these interactions, improving it every step of the way. So your price should go up $300 every project, and you should be improving the process. The goal, and as you're doing this, as you're growing your company, the goal is to shorten the customer journey and improve each interaction every step of the way. So if you have 12 touch points, get it down to 6 and make them more powerful. And you do that with video.
Would you consider yourself a colorist fully?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a colorist, right? Like color grading is one of it's a part of the video world you enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Even though you don't necessarily have a lot of time to do it these days.
I do get paid by clients to color work too.
Right. So you're a colorist,
other production companies.
You've helped me design my LUTs and stuff. What is your thoughts on the LUTs versus building a grade from scratch per project? Because there's some controversy online about LUTs. Like some people say that you need to be building a node tree from scratch every time, and which is cool. But what is your thoughts on the LUTs conversation?
Do you build a node tree every single time?
I sure do not.
Why?
Because I don't have time.
Exactly.
Yeah. I knew what you were gonna say.
If you have a little bit of time, use LUTs.
Yeah.
If you have more time in your day, use power grades, because power grades will get you a better result.
Sure.
Because you can dial in things a little bit more. But if you don't have enough time, use LUTs as a starting point and then tweak, which is what I do. And I that's what you do now, right? So it's like use the LUT first, then go back where before your LUT, adjust your exposure, your white balance. And then after your LUT, do your masking and your vignetting, your grain and your sharpening and halation from there, and you're good to go.
Because the biggest thing, for color grading is the order of layers.
Oh yeah.
So that's the most important thing. Once you learn that, you want to make all your exposure adjustments above your LUTs. You don't want to be doing that after the LUTs are applied. All those kind of conversations. One thing that drives me crazy about the color grading world, to some degree now, is the people are like scared of contrast. And I don't know what it is, But I'm like people. I think people are terrified of those black levels. Like, dude,
Yeah.
on most of the time when I drop my LUTs on, even though they're great, and like I said, they get you 90% of the way there, I'm always adding more contrast. There's very few situations where I don't. I'm taking those mid-tones. I'm a color wheels guy. For
You're
my
in Final Cut?
quick grades, I'll do Final Cut. More in-depth stuff, I'll do DaVinci.
Okay.
I'm just so fast in Final Cut that sometimes when I'm doing like quick things, I can fly in it.
Yeah.
I need to learn DaVinci so I can be that fast. I'm just not there yet. But I'm a big color wheels guy in Final Cut. If you're gonna grade in Final Cut, color wheels are the moves. Don't use the board or anything else. Color wheels are the way to go. But if you take that the mid-tone wheel, and dude, pull the mid-tone exposure down and then pump the highlights just a little bit, dude, it's the most beautiful, deep contrast. And what I learned about the color wheels is color wheels are essentially adding they're touching the color that's already there.
Oh.
As opposed to adding.
Wow.
Color. And so
that's a good tip.
There is something you get a higher fidelity. Your image holds up better because it's not trying to add stuff on top of the footage. It's just tweaking what's already there.
Color wheels.
Color wheels are the moves. But yeah, LUTs are great, man. I don't know there's no shame in a LUT.
Not at all, man. When you build it into your business, you can deliver the product faster.
Absolutely.
Too. Like there are clients that I have that need the video fast.
Yep.
I can't spend time building a massive node tree.
Yeah.
Because consistent videos will trump quality videos any day. Now there is an argument, like don't compromise the integrity of the story.
Yeah.
The diminishing returns. At what point do you not make any money? Like,
yeah, right.
You can toss a lot on if you expose the right way. Deliver the product fast, and that will actually get you. It's a better experience for the client, than having them wait months and months and months because you want to color grade, but then you don't got the time. Then you postpone and you procrastinate. It's like, dude, drop a lot on there, fix your exposure, and export the video.
We were on set the other day, and we literally showed the client like an hour after shooting footage because we had LUTs.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that was that, and the client was able to see it like that instant, like wow, like see a 90% finished product.
You see his reaction?
Yeah, he loved it. You know what I mean?
It.
And yeah, will you probably maybe do a little bit more to it in post? Sure. But he saw 90% of what it will be.
Exactly.
And so yeah.
Tips on storytelling with video.
Storytelling with video. I mean, a lot of I made the mistake early on of it's a filmmaker's instinct is to, oh, this shot's beautiful, so I'm just going to put it in there. But is it productive to the story?
Nope.
No. And that I'm still guilty of it because there's some shots I'm like, man, that just looks so good. It has to work. We're gonna make it work, you know.
Yep.
But I think staying true to the story over a beautiful shot. I think story over beautiful shot should always be the priority. If it happens to contribute to the story, then great. If it doesn't, then don't do it. And that would be my biggest thing. And I think just don't just go out there and shoot and make something up.
Mm-hmm.
Really think about the story, write out a shot list, write out a script, even if something that only you use. Like you're not, it's important to keep that structure in your mind so that your story is cohesive. And I'm still learning. I'm still not great at it. It's a process. You get better. Not speaking for someone who's an expert, but that would
spend more time in pre-production.
Yeah, that would be my two things for sure.
Yeah. So spend more time planning. Don't compromise the story by adding in more quality shots just because that they're there. If
they're not moving the story forward, kill them.
Roger Deakins said that too.
Yep.
He was saying if the next shot doesn't make them want to watch the next shot. No, this was Martin Scorsese.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He said if this shot doesn't make you want to watch the next shot, then don't put it in the film.
Right.
And I do this in commercial work as well too. It's like hook the audience first, then take them through the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution. Sometimes it's in 15 seconds or 60 seconds, but that's how I do it. Follow that format, tell the story, remove the fluff, communicate with simplicity and clarity. Mission accomplished.
Yep.